Addiction has impacted my life in many ways. Physically, I suffer from slight PTSD. I keep my phone off all the time. I do not let it trigger me with text tones or, phone calls. Someone comes to my door and knocks on my door unexpectedly. It sends my body, with my heart pounding and concerned about who it is. My loved one who's addicted would come to my house at, odd hours of the day or night when I hadn't heard from him in days, weeks, months. And it would, trigger a response. So that response is, uncontrolled now when those things happen. So I try to control it as much as I can. People aren't aware that they need to be educated of just how much addiction does impact them. That addiction is out there. It does not discriminate. I can remember nobody knowing what I was going through. I kept a lot of things, even from my husband, secret for a while. I would be out driving at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning looking for him, trying to find where he was at, screaming and crying in my car, go to work the next day, after not getting any sleep. Nobody knew. I would have laryngitis from screaming so much in my car, and people would say, Are you okay? Are you sick? I'm like, oh, I'm fine. I don't know why why I can't talk. Knowing it was because I had, screamed so much the night before. And I didn't tell anybody anything. But I didn't know anything about addiction at all. It had not impacted my family until my loved one was addicted. And I did everything wrong at the beginning. And learned that it's not going to go away on its own. Addiction is a progressive disorder, and it doesn't go away. It's either going to get worse or it has to be, stopped. And so I educated myself because that's what I know how to do. How does it impact the brain? How does it take over the thought process? There's a physiological explanation for how the drugs take over your body. I teach school, and so I see the impact of addiction that way, because you either have children who are growing up with grandparents. They're being raised by grandparents, sometimes even great-grandparents. It's the addiction has gone, that deep into the generation, and those children are, wondering why their parents aren't there. So that's affecting them, which is going to continue that cycle of addiction a lot of times if people aren't educated about it. If they aren't being raised by grandparents, but they're living with an addicted parent or someone in their family who's addicted, the chaos that surrounds addiction is not something that a child needs to grow up in. And so that child is going to seek to escape that chaos or learn to live with that chaos. People think that addiction, if it doesn't affect them personally, if they don't have a loved one or someone in their family that struggles with it, then they have a very judgmental attitude about it. And they say, well, that's never going to happen to me. I was one of those people. I used to see people who struggled with addiction. And, I wondered, what must that child's life been like? What did that child grow up in order for them to, turn to drugs? What are they trying to, fix or solve or, find? Addiction thrives in shame and silence. What I want people of Nassau County to know about addiction is we have to be willing to share it with others, because until we are open and people realize it, that, their neighbor or their, somebody that sits beside them at church or somebody that works with them, next door in the cubicle is dealing with that. You think you're alone. You think you're the only one going through it. And when you start talking about it, that's when you realize that other people are dealing with it too, because it's a huge epidemic. I never thought that this would be a part of my life. A lot of times you feel helpless and hopeless. You feel as the loved one or as the one that's suffering from the addiction, you feel hopeless and helpless, like there's no hope for you. But there is hope. There's hope through treatment. There's hope that you can recover. And even if your loved one who is suffering from addiction doesn't ever choose to get help, you can still, have a healthy, happy life and learn to, to live with it instead of living in that chaos and that sadness.